Learning to play golf is much more than just your swing. It's about how you negotiate the 18 holes. I must have been about 13 years old when I had my last playing lesson, and I remember it being a huge help then. So I've booked one in with PGA Pro Terry Drever on my home course of Squamish Valley to find out where I'm losing strokes. The lesson started off with Terry checking in on my chipping around the green. He pointed out that it was much easier to roll the ball along the ground towards the flag, rather than throw it up in the air and try and land it near the hole. In most situations, I'll reach for my lob wedge, thinking I'm Phil Mickelson. Terry suggests that I should try only using an 8-iron, pitching wedge or sand wedge for this kind of chipping. I need to put time in to get this right, but Terry tells me that an 8-iron will land roughly 20% between you and where the ball will eventually roll to its final resting spot, a pitching wedge 40% and a sand wedge about 60%. These numbers are of course pretty generalized, and golf isn't that simple, but I now had something in my skill set that could potentially take a few shots off my scorecard. After Terry was satisfied that my putting stroke was actually functional, we headed to the first tee.
So Terry isn't letting me play off the tips, which is what I really need to work on. But obviously, Terry always knows best, and I have to understand this. We're not even playing off the blues. I'm playing off the whites, which is like almost the forward tee. And I've told him that, yeah, it's too easy. What are we even bothering? But I know I'm going to get schooled, so full acceptance.
Piping one down the middle was a great way to start this round.
240 to the flag, 215 to the front of the green. I could get onto the green with a 3-wood.
Unfortunately, a rush swing would put me into a tree on the right of the fairway, but I was excited that Terry actually wanted me to play kind of aggressively. I was left with a third shot that needed to go underneath this branch.
I want to try and get up onto the top layer because that's where the flag is.
Terry suggests I pull my left foot back, which would free up my arms a bit more. Unfortunately, I carried the hill in front of this green and sent it straight through the back. This kind of shot is going to need some practice to get the right touch, but the shot back towards the flag was pretty decent.
Trying not to lose face, play off the freaking whites getting on the green at 4.
I was in for a bogey on the shortened par 4. And the par 4 second was similarly shorter than I'd usually play it.
No, came over the top of it.
You're all right. You're reaching for it a bit.
Oh yeah, 93. My 54 goes 95 at a full swing.
So then make a 3/4 swing, 1 dot short of full.
Terry points out that my alignment wasn't that great on my second shot.
I can see it from behind.
The third shot produces my nightmare shank, and it ends up taking me 3 shots to get on the green from 100 yards. But at least I rolled in this solid putt to save a bogey. After the first 2 holes, can you see where I'm losing my strokes? Drop a comment below if you figured it out. Another short par 4 for hole 3, and Terry checks in on how far I stand away from the ball.
And just let your arms hang. So just move your hips back and let your arms hang.
He also adjusts my alignment, and once again I'm aimed way too far to the right than where I needed to be. And after this change, I hit one straight down the target line. The second shot goes to plan, and I'm on in regulation. The putter carries on working, but I leave the birdie putt agonizingly short. But overall, a better hole.
Your driver looks like more like a 7 or 6 handicap.
Then I hit the next shot, 119. So this should be a gap wedge. If I go past the flag, I got a downhill death putt. Pitching wedge would go too far and leave me with said putt.
You got at least 3 to 4 yards of wind.
So take a softer pitching wedge.
But a pitching wedge still isn't enough to get pin high, and I have a long uphill putt for birdie, which has great speed, and I'm in for par on the stroke index 1. On the par 3 fifth, Terry emphasizes the importance of picking a larger target behind the green to aim at. But once again, I came up short. Just off the green, Terry goes over that 8-iron bump and run, focusing on landing it 20% between me and the hole. As I've said before, it's not something that I've been doing out on the course, but it's so effective, I just can't argue with the results, and I tap in for par.
Yeah, point made.
All day long. love the swing. That swing was beautiful. It was absolutely flowing.
An ideal drive, and it's time to lay up for the second shot into the par 5 sixth.
Little bit of sway on that one.
Oh yeah.
So this leg kicked
Oh yeah.
instead of
Yeah.
pivot.
Okay.
I'm only 100 yards away from the hole, and this happens.
96 to the flag.
Okay,
Oh.
sway, do it again.
Oh.
That was actually a good
Go.
swing.
Thinning the now 6th shot over the back of the green, but then my 7th shot is the exact opposite of that and is pretty much perfect.
That was phenomenal.
And I tap in for a triple bogey. I pulled my tee shot on the 7th into a position where it would be possible to get on the green, but Terry advises that more likely than not, that's not going to go to plan. So I take the medicine and chip out. Not the best shot onto the green, nor the best putt, but I was in for a bogey, which could easily have been a double.
Man, you better not get rid of that thing.
162. If we take my penis out of the club choice equation, it's a 6-iron. That's gone left, hasn't it? Can't see it.
It's left, it's all right.
The recovery shot goes all the way to the back of the green, thanks to catching this thin.
Just try to come up at impact, realize you gotta swing down the slope with it.
Oh. Oh.
Back to my real ball, and again the weight of the putt is fine. But the bogey putt just dribbles by the hole.
I'm not actually thinking about my score at all. I have no idea how I'm doing. It's like the one thing that I'm just trying to forget about.
Having a better club selection and Terry reiterating this hip turn over and over again is helping. A par on stroke index 3. But it's time to reveal where I'm losing strokes and also why I haven't even been able to break 90 lately.
You minus 8 shots in short game from 100 yards.
What does that mean?
You lost 8 shots from 100 yards
Oh.
to the green, which is par. So it wasn't the long game, it was the short game.
Oh.
And there it is. It didn't matter which tees I was playing off, it's that inside 100-yard distance that's costing me all these strokes. And bear in mind, I was putting pretty decently on this day too. Let's see how we can improve this on the back 9 with Terry's help. Terry points out how the line on long putts is nowhere near as important as the pace. Tour average from 25 feet is 12%. I shouldn't have the expectation that I'm going to hole this. If I'm near though, I'll save myself a shot each hole by avoiding these 3 putts.
Perfect.
Go.
It's perfect.
It's short.
A lot of wind up there, boys.
Something else I haven't been taking into account with club selection nearly enough is the wind. Terry has played on this course for years and was able to show me the usual wind direction on each hole. More greens and regulation will help me get back to that 9 handicap, but for now, getting up and down will do just fine. The 12th shows how, at this level of golf, the tee shot really doesn't matter that much. Despite going into the trees on this par 5, I comfortably got out and hit a wedge onto the green. The wedge shot was the most important of those 3. But perhaps not as important as missing this tap-in.
So both of you guys, I'd like you to see you start playing to the back of the green.
The bump and run chips will make things easier for sure, but on day 1 of not using my lob wedge everywhere, I'm not going to have the right touch.
There you go.
And we are once again shown how your short game means so much more than where you put it off the tee.
What did I do wrong on this pitching wedge?
You tried to lift it instead of just brush the ground.
Even on the 14th here, I had a shot at the green, but poor control puts me over the back.
Bite.
Oh, it's gone.
That's okay, it was pretty well executed, a little firm.
And I have back-to-back double bogeys. Having Terry with me out on the course was a completely different experience to a standard lesson. I'd recommend anyone who hasn't tried a playing lesson out there to book one in.
a little quick with the arms, which kicks your hip out, instead of if I'm sitting here, I turn.
Getting the club selection right and having better pace on these long putts is just going to give a better score. Attacking the flag and getting it close of course would help, but it's not realistic for a mid-handicap golfer like myself.
I'd play at 130, 135.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Go. Go. Go.
Good putt. Take it away.
I was learning to think differently and recognize what brings success. A decent drive is let down by my second shot getting hooked left. And swaying on this chip instead of using that hip and shoulder turn puts me in misery. I'm pin high in 2 on this par 5, but it takes me 4 shots to get down the hole. And that's even with a pretty good putt. I've never been so aware of what's been costing me these good scores.
Whoa!
Man, you roll that thing good. When you're swinging harder, you're increasing the spins, trying to get into the wind. When you don't and you swing easy, it reduces the spin and goes through the air. That's
Where I aimed, isn't it?
perfect. What do you got?
Grip down, 6, punch 1, half swing,
How far is it?
100
Hey, give me a golf ball.
with the same
I don't
club.
want that one, no, I want the 5. There it is, so it's choked down to the rubber, 3/4, 3/4, and it should go around 100.
Oh. Is that 7?
5.
5 iron.
5 iron down to the rubber, 3/4 to 3/4, should go about 100 yards. You went all the way back and then tried to hit it. I went 3/4 to 3/4 and never tried to hit it at all.
That would felt like just a 3/4.
You were all the way back.
You went way back.
Really?
Ending my round with a double was the perfect representation of my golf game. Scoring 91 on this day off some pretty forward tees, Terry sat me down and gave me a full rundown of my game, including where my 100 yards and in scoring should be compared to a scratch golfer.
They're at somewhere between 37 and 44 shots in that 100 range. You're at 63. We'll take 19 off of that, 72. Bad score would have been 82. 5 3 putts, 4
Yeah.
3 putts. That would put you at 87. But the giveaways around the green, way too many.
And since this lesson, I haven't shot over 90. I religiously practiced my yardages from 100 yards and in, practiced putting more, and spent time on my chipping. I also made the great call of getting rid of my blades that I've been playing with, so hit the subscribe button to be notified when I upload my new iron fitting video. Because since that change, my scoring has really come down. If you enjoyed this video, then hit the like button to show me that you did and comment below what you thought of this playing lesson. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the course.